I took a 2-year-old stock portfolio from zero to £38,000 in just 2 years. And I'm going to reveal exactly how I built it, which stocks I bought inside it, and how I'm planning to make this 2-year-old a millionaire by the time they're in their 30s. Forget saving your money in a piggy bank. This is how you build real generational wealth. But let's start with the basics. What is a junior ISA? Well, a junior ISA is one of the few tax-free havens that children have. It can be opened by adults for children that are under the age of 18, and £9,000 can be invested every single year, and that money can then be used to buy stocks and shares inside the junior stocks and shares ISA. And one of the best things about the junior stocks and shares ISA is that it is truly tax-free, meaning that no tax is paid on any money made inside of the ISA. That means no withdrawal tax, no income tax, and no capital gains tax. It's exempt from everything, meaning that it is a true tax-free haven that everybody should be making use of. Once the child turns 18, the account automatically evolves into an adult stocks and shares ISA, and they get full control of the money that's inside it. If you invest consistently from the child's birth up until they're the age of 18, investing £9,000, which is the full amount every single tax year, the child could potentially be a millionaire by the time they reach adulthood. And the earlier you start, the bigger the effect of compounding. That's why starting from birth makes all the difference when you're investing in the stock market. The longer you spend in the stock market, the higher your chances of growth over the long term. And if you zoom out when looking at stock market charts, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, you can see how time in the market will grow your money exponentially on average. Okay, so you're probably thinking this sounds really cool, but how do I start? How do I get a junior stocks and shares ISA, and how can I start this process? Well, you're not going to find a junior stocks and shares ISA with your average high street bank. You need to go to what's called a stockbroker. This is a specialist platform that will allow you to open up a junior stocks and shares ISA and start investing in the stock market. Now, there's many different junior stocks and shares ISA providers out there. There's Nutmeg, Fidelity, AJ Bell, and Interactive Investor. But I chose to go with one that is a little bit different, and that is Hargreaves Lansdown. Now, the reason I went with Hargreaves Lansdown is because they do not charge commissions or fees on anything you buy inside of the junior stocks and shares ISA. And that means that any money that I invest in the stock market goes towards compounding within the account. I'm not wasting money on fees and commissions that are paid directly to the broker. Normally, brokers will take a cut. However, Hargreaves Lansdown don't, which means that every penny that I invest into the market compounds and grows in my child's account. And this allows them to reach their investing goals a lot quicker. Hargreaves Lansdown also have, in my opinion, the best UK stockbroker customer service. There's nothing worse than having tens of thousands of pounds or hundreds of thousands of pounds invested in the stock market and not being able to get answers to your questions from your stockbroker. This for me is really important, and it's not something that I want to compromise on, especially when I have a significant amount in the market. And for me, Hargreaves Lansdown ticks all the boxes in this department. Customer service is 10 out of 10. But how did I actually grow this account from zero to £38,000 in just 2 years? Well, the simple answer is I didn't follow the crowd. See, everyone tells you to invest in ETFs or exchange traded funds. These are index funds that have big buckets of stocks, multiple stocks from different sectors all in one pie. Now, this is a safe way of doing things. There's no doubt that you can increase your wealth through investing in ETFs. Something like the S&P 500 traditionally returns around 7 to 10% every single year annualized. However, I took it a step further and I invested aggressively in individual stocks, particularly stocks within the tech sector. Now, that goes against the grain of what the experts will tell you, but I'm a strong believer of doing things that sit within your risk appetite. At the end of the day, you have to do what's right for you. Everyone has different risk appetites, and you need to invest within your own thresholds. And the stocks I invested in were stocks that I thought would do well based on my own experience within my personal portfolio. I largely mirrored my own positions for this 2-year-old based on the experience I built up through investing on and off in the stock market for the last 15 years. And since the maximum amount you can invest in a junior stocks and shares ISA is £9,000 every single year, we put £9,000 in year 1 and an additional £9,000 in year 2. That makes up the full amount invested of £18,000 across the 2 years. Fast forward to today and the portfolio has more than doubled. So £18,000 was put into the portfolio, but is now worth a whopping £38,000. That means that the portfolio has grown by more than the money that was deposited inside it. Absolutely phenomenal, all at 2 years old. So now you've seen the gains, you know how to invest in a junior stocks and shares ISA using a platform like Hargreaves Lansdown, but you're probably itching to see what's inside the portfolio. This is the question I get asked the most. So let's get straight into it and find out what we've invested in. So now the part that you've all been waiting for. What is inside the junior stocks and shares ISA that allowed it to go from zero to £38,000 inside of just 2 years? Well, here are the stocks. Up first, we have Rigetti Computing, ticker symbol RGTI. Now, this is a stock that sits within the quantum space, and quantum computing is the next big thing. I can see this becoming the new AI. And the exciting thing about quantum computing is it is around 5 to 15 years before it truly blows up. So in my opinion, this sector is still relatively new and early. Rigetti Computing is a high-risk, high-reward stock. It's still relatively new, but if it breaks through as one of the premier quantum stock plays, it could be huge. And all of the big players of the future are going to need quantum systems to power their infrastructure. Rigetti Computing is up a whopping 151% inside the portfolio. The next stock is Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. Now, Apple knows no introduction. It's a household name, and most of you watching this will have an iPhone or will know someone who does. And despite the naysayers, Apple is still growing. Now, it's been late to the AI party, and we know that it hasn't fully adopted artificial intelligence as well as some of its competitors. But one thing I'll always say is you never want to underestimate Apple because they've always got something up their sleeve. Tim Cook is always cooking, and this stock is up 51% in the portfolio. Then we have Hims and Hers, ticker symbol HIMS, and they are a healthcare disruptor focusing on telemedicine and wellness. They benefit highly from their subscription-based service, and they do well in the weight loss and men's health categories. Hims is one of the best healthcare disruptors, and I'm expecting strong long-term growth from this company. Then we have Google. Now, Google is synonymous with searches on the internet. No one even says, "Can you search this for me?" They say, "Can you Google this for me?" And as soon as I had that conversation with a friend all the way back in 2015, that was when I invested inside it for my personal portfolio. Google is huge, and they are the native search engine for so many of the different phone manufacturers, including Apple. Plus, the business is so much more. AI, cloud computing, Google Ads, and the list goes on. Google recently beat their anti-monopoly case with the Department of Justice, and off the back of that, the stock is up a whopping 45% in the past 3 months. And the 2-year-old's position is up 86% inside the portfolio. Next is a company that you might not have heard of, Rocket Lab, ticker symbol RKLB. Rocket Lab is an end-to-end space company delivering reliable rocket launches, satellites, and orbit management. And it's competing directly against Elon Musk's SpaceX. This was a stock that we saw pretty early on and snapped up at under $10 a share. And at the time of me recording this video, Rocket Lab is trading at $48 a share. It's up a mind-boggling 541% inside the 2-year-old's portfolio. Next we have Microsoft, and just like Apple and Google, this is a stock that needs no introductions. The Bill Gates powerhouse. Strong AI and enterprise dominance, plus partnerships with ChatGPT and OpenAI mean that this stock is still relevant. And Microsoft is investing heavily into cloud computing, solidifying its place in the technology space. We're up 48% inside the portfolio. Then we have Amazon. Now, you probably know Amazon as an e-commerce giant, and you probably order from it at least once a month, or you'll know somebody that does. But did you know Amazon is so much more than just e-commerce? Their cloud-based AWS or Amazon Web Services is a hidden growth engine. It's used by tons of companies globally, and it continues to catapult. This one has been a real big player inside the portfolio, and it's up a massive 130% since we bought it. And then we have Nvidia. Now, this one is an absolute monster when it comes to AI. Nvidia is a leader in AI chips, and it needs absolutely no introduction. It currently has the biggest weighting in the S&P 500, and it's carrying pensions and ETFs worldwide. Hordes of companies are increasing their investment into AI, and Nvidia has a lot more room to grow in my opinion. This is a stock where I confidently have a price target of $250 per share. Not to mention that I think Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of Nvidia, is one of the best CEOs in the world. We are up a whopping 272% on our Nvidia position, and I don't think Nvidia is done just yet. So now you know what's inside the portfolio. How does this 2-year-old actually become a millionaire? Well, let's do the maths together. If this account keeps compounding at £9,000 every single year invested at just 10%, then by the time this child is 18, we're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds. Stretch that to age 30, and we are sitting firmly inside millionaire territory. At that point, you're really creaming, because a 1% gain on £1 million is £10,000. That's where it gets interesting. And the 10% yearly growth forecast that we factored in is really the worst case scenario. That's something you can expect from investing in ETFs like the S&P 500. I'm investing in individual tech stocks which have way more growth. I'm looking to get many multiples of that 10% inside this account every single year before the child is 18. The best thing about investing early inside a junior stocks and shares ISA is that time is on your side, and you can really start to see the effects of compounding. We're not talking about starting the investment journey in the 50s here. We are executing on a pre-planned strategic operation from the age of 0. That is the epitome of building strategic generational wealth. Not to mention, if the contributions increase to £20,000 a year when the account becomes an adult stocks and shares ISA, and this is continued all the way through to retirement at age 60 plus, this account could be worth multi-millions. So that's exactly how I grew a 2-year-old's junior stocks and shares ISA account from 0 to £38,000 in just 2 years, and why I believe by the age of 30, this child will be a millionaire. And just know there's nothing special about me. I didn't go to a Russell Group University, I didn't go to Oxford or Cambridge, I'm just a regular person like you. Anyone in the UK can do this for their child, utilising the £9,000 every single year that you can invest tax-free for your child. And look, you might not be able to contribute the full £9,000 every single year, but what you can contribute for your child will make a massive difference in their future. Start early and be consistent when it comes to investing in the stock market. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more investing breakdowns. Drop a comment if you want me to reveal undervalued stocks that I'm investing in right now. And remember, the best time to invest was yesterday, and the second best time is today.